All right, I have it as 11 o'clock and I have gone ahead and started the recording. So let me mark down who's here real quick. So I've got 4 of y'all marked as here. Are y'all hearing me at this point? Okay. So we'll go ahead and get going. A reminder, if you haven't done these online collaborate sessions before with me, you do have to participate to get credit. That is just typing stuff in the chat box. Some of you sometimes have live microphones and join in, and that'll be fine as long as we don't get into chaos on that. So at this point, I'll let y'all do on the live microphones. And we're in the second course of Cisco at this point now. This is summer semester, so it's only 8 weeks. So we'll be doing in 1 week what you would do normally in 2 weeks in fall or spring. So last week you had chapters 1 and 2, which were basically a review over what you had already done in 2451. Remember also, and this is really not a comment to y'all in here so much, as to those that listen to the recording, which some people do, you do have to participate in the live session to get credit. You're welcome to listen to the recordings later, but that does not count as engagement activity because you didn't have a chance to engage in it with other people. And that those people would have to do the discussion still. Last week you did have to do the discussion because I did not have a live collaborate session. So this will get you out of week 2 if you're attending live. I was really expecting one more person at least in here of it, but I don't see. Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 get into VLANs and having you set up VLANs in these 2 chapters. And so 2 chapters actually related, because the first one is setting up your VLANs and what are VLANs and how to set them up. And all it is it's a virtual local area network or a virtual LAN. What the advantage is that you're not limited within how you've got stuff actually wired up, that you can set groups of machines into a VLAN that are not physically connected, but you'll have them connected via the VLAN, so they'll be virtually connected between them, although they may be on different domains out there or subnets out there. But as far as how they can actually talk to each other will be just the things on their VLAN, even though they're in different locations on different groups out there of subnets. So, and that works really well on that. And you can actually go over to a number of VLANs. So a machine it's not limited to just one VLAN. It can have lots of VLANs. And they can be connected all types of ways together. So it's virtually connecting them together. So you're setting up your local area network in a virtual setup. Let's see that Todd just joined us, so let me get him written down. I will try to enter the attendances later today, although it may take a day or so. that's what you're going to be going through, learning about and seeing how to work through them. And once you set up the VLAN, then it's just like you're sitting there locally with those other machines. One case where I set up a VLAN was in South Georgia between two towns where this guy that ran a tax service, he was an accountant and had tax thing too, and he had two offices in two different towns. Each one of them was connected onto the internet in their town, and so they had their own physical local addressing that was on there. So there were physically two different networks with multiple machines in both places. What we did was we set up a VLAN between them, and then that allowed the machines between the two locations to communicate back and forth with each other just like they were right there together in the same building. Not, I think they were about 40 miles apart, and we actually had it going across the internet, but it was a virtual local area network, so it still appeared to be a local area network, but it was virtual. It really wasn't, because it was really a WAN, but it was a virtual local area network across the WAN, across the internet. And so then all of the information they had at the two locations was available just like they were all working in the same office. It worked real slickly on that. And then you can set your security on it and stuff so that people can't get into it and that you're protected on it, which is part of what they're going to teach you as you go along on it. But that's going to be the nice little benefits of it that you can set up. Just like the college here can set it up to doing the same type approach. For instance, and I have not done this, but I know several other faculty members have taken advantage of it, but I just have not. My computer here, I can actually work on it from at home by connecting into it. And I'm actually using a VLAN across to my computer on it and remote control onto it. I've chosen not to do that so far, even during the pandemic last year, that I just worked on my stuff from home and did not ever try to get in. First thing is my machine here in the office has a few little glitches in it, and if it reboots, somebody has to come in here and hit the F1 key because it's got a video driver issue that I have not been able to figure out how to get around. And every time it comes up, it wants you to hit F1 to continue to get the video driver working correctly. I've done all the updates on it and everything, but I can't change or really work with the video driver and stuff because that's IT admin does, and they've got controls all over the place on stuff. So I'm rather limited on what I can do to it. So VLANs will be really useful to you. They're used a lot out there, and so those two are due on that. I think, yeah, because we got at least one person in here that has not had a Cisco course from me before. Just a couple of reminders for you. As you do your packet tracer assignments, make sure you do put the name on the desktop, which is using Note, the Note button, which is on the second row, fifth button, I believe it is, of icons. And then go down just anywhere on the desktop, the white area where all your machines are put, and just click anywhere and then type in your name, and that'll put your name out there, just like where they've got little notes sometimes about what the names of machines are, etc. That is a requirement in my class, and if you don't do that, you will encounter a substantial penalty for not having your name on the desktop. So do make sure you do that on each of your assignments. Make sure you do turn in, if there's questions to answer, make sure you put those answers in a Word type document. You could use WordPad or Word. Be just as easy to use Word because school supplies you with Word. Put them in there. Save it as a Word type document, so it should be a .docx or a .doc. So, and that I've got it in that video there, and that's one of the main reasons that video is there for you. I don't know why I would be frozen at this point. It's not that cold here in the office. But it's moving on my screen, my picture and everything, so I don't know. So
did it happen to anybody?
Do make sure you do that. Tests are at Netacad. The scores will automatically appear for you out at Netacad. I have to transfer your grades manually from Netacad to Blackboard and the opposite direction. I'll generally not do that until after the test is graded, transfer them back to Blackboard, or assignment grades. I normally don't grade assignments until after their due date. Sometimes I do look at them a little ahead. I'm not sure if I will or not. Yes, you can make multiple submissions. So if you didn't submit that at the same time, submit it. And that's the reason I don't normally grade stuff until after the deadline. So besides that, I really haven't had time to at this point. For this class, this is the second time I'm teaching this class using this textbook and materials. Version 7 came out a year ago, January. The first course, the second course came out during spring a year ago. So I taught it last summer. However, some of the stuff in there was not available at that point, like PowerPoints. So that's why there's only a few PowerPoints out there at this point that I'm trying to get those posted out there. But Cisco does not make them ADA compliant, so I'm having to make them ADA compliant before I can post them, which means putting alt tags on all the images, and that's the big one on it. And then there's a few other little things through there that they don't get correct for ADA purposes either. So that takes some time. So I'm trying to get those out there. Second thing is the assignments did change slightly. They actually made a few more assignments into packet tracer assignments after they had released January a year ago, because we had this little episode happen in March, i.e. the pandemic hit. And that they then decided to make a large number of more of the labs that they were saying that they gave you directions to them on equipment, but not in packet tracers. They decided to make them also set up for packet tracer. Second thing was Packet Tracer 8 came out in January this year, which actually deals with pandemic also. It's got a much more strong physical view to it, where you can actually see how the cables are drawn from machine to machine and so on. So I would encourage you to look at the physical view. Those that had the 2451 from me last semester, well, actually that was version 7, I think, the introduction to packet tracer you took. I don't think the version 8 introduction's out there yet, but there's a whole lot more stuff it's got in 8 now, particularly on the physical side. The other part is, if you don't have packet tracer 8, and those of you that took 2451 from me last semester, y'all don't have to worry about what I'm saying. If somebody didn't take it from me last semester, which I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 in this live group right now watching that did not, you need to get packet tracer 8, because some things are not going to work correctly. Second one is they updated the equipment in there, so that, for instance, some of the switches, the 2960 switch, if I remember correctly, in Packet Tracer 7 and before, it used OSI, iOS, the Internet Operating System, the operating system for the devices. It used iOS version 7, I believe it was, and so some things would not work in those devices that are newer things. The version 8 actually uses version 15 of the iOS. And so some things, we ran into a few things on that particularly. The other part is the pre-made packet tracers, a number of them won't work for you if you try to use pre-8. So make sure you do have 8. And 8 actually has an update out there, but I don't think you got to worry about that one. You should normally get into logical view on 8. Was that on a specific assignment? That could be on an assignment. On one of the assignments, they may well have logical view locked out where they wanted you to just do it working from the physical view. But normally, you've got both physical and logical view. So the first one, it's entirely possible they locked it on there, but because they'll just like they will sometimes lock where you can't go into the CLI interface. It's keeping all these acronyms straight. The CLI interface, that they'll lock that one for you and make you have to connect through using the rollover cable back to a PC and going in through terminal on the PC to get into the switch or the router. That's what I assume you ran into right there, Josh, but I would have to look and see. Send me an email and I'll look at that and tell me which packet tracer it was, and I'll look at it and see. So that's where we'll be going from through here. Basically, we'll be doing 2 chapters a week all semester. No, we won't. Actually, after this week, the next couple of weeks, you only have 1 chapter a week. But these first 2 weeks, you got 2 chapters each week, and then there's 2 more weeks later on that we have 2 chapters in 1 week, because in week 5 and in week 8, you've got 2 chapters. I actually intentionally did that in week 8 because week 8 you actually have 1 extra day. A couple of other things on these sessions. We're meeting today at 11 o'clock on Mondays, which will be our default time on these, but that's going to be subject to change throughout the semester. And we've only got 8 weeks, so we've only got 7 weeks of these sessions, and there's going to be several number of these confused around. So it's not going to be very many times we'll actually meet at 11 o'clock on Mondays. Next week, Monday is Memorial Day. It's a school holiday, so we will not meet on Monday. So we're meeting on Tuesday. In July, the first Monday in July is July the 5th, because July the 4th is on Sunday. Because it is on Sunday, Monday, July the 5th is the 4th of July holiday, Independence Day holiday, actually, technically. That's sort of like the question of, does England have a July the 4th? Yes, it does have a July the 4th. It doesn't have an American Independence Day, though, or at least it doesn't celebrate it. July the 5th, we won't have a session either. We'll have it on Tuesday the 6th, that point also. So those I know will change. There's a couple of other weeks that I'm not for sure that we'll even meet, or how we'll meet on them, when we'll meet. Because I am scheduled to go to a meeting in Salt Lake City in the latter part of June, and working around that. Now, I've got some other things possibly could come up in the year that could affect some things too, but I don't anticipate any problems on that. So next week we will be on Tuesday. The following week we should be on Monday, on June the 7th. And June the 14th we should be on Monday. But then after that, everything goes crazy from there on out, basically. So we'll see how it all works. So that's where the status is on all of that. Any questions for me now? Y'all have been asking some stuff as you've been going through, right? But Submissions, for those of you that are new in my class, on the items that I do allow y'all to submit multiple times. Actually, I got it set on unlimited. As I grade whatever you submitted, I will be grading what each submission is. So when, if you submitted just the PKA without answers to the questions, you're going to get a grade on that. And if you then did a submission after that, before I did the grading, before the deadline, that I will then grade that submission along with knowing what it said on the first submission. And that it's the highest grade of them all. That's what counts. So I have to grade each one based on what's on there and what I've previously seen. The other part is if you submitted it and then realized before the deadline that you had really goofed it up, you can fix it and resubmit it. Just don't panic when you see, if you go in while I'm doing grading and see a real low grade, wait till I get grading finished. Make sure I have graded both copies before you go into a panic on it, because it'll show on that. So normally grading I will do after the deadline. Deadlines are normally on Monday evening. I'll take them up till 11:59 at night. If you don't turn them in on time, there is a 15-point penalty per week, as was mentioned on the syllabus test and is in the syllabus. Test will normally be available from Monday at 12:01 a.m. So the module 1 through 4 test should have become available at 12:01 a.m. this morning, and it'll be available through 11:59 next Monday. Actually, next Tuesday, because since Monday's a holiday, I don't have stuff due until Tuesday because of that. The following week's stuff is due on Monday. So if you look at the calendar, you'll see I actually start next week on Monday, but the deadlines of stuff that would have been due on Monday is Tuesday. So I have to get discussions graded every week, so that normally is the first thing I do on Tuesdays. And that normally takes me an hour, 2 hours just to grade those discussions. Tomorrow I've got some other things going on in the afternoon, so I'm not going to be able to grade in the afternoon. But I should get y'all's assignments probably graded on Wednesday morning. Likewise, me marking the attendance for y'all for today into discussion week 2. Those of you that attended live will get 100 in there. It may well be Wednesday or Thursday before I post those grades. The other one is the recordings. I will try to move the recordings each week on the evening after I did them. I have to do them from home. That I put them out to YouTube, which closed captions them, which meets ADA requirements, and then put the link to them at YouTube, put that back into Collaborate Recordings in the Blackboard course. But if I try to do it from school, the connection to the internet of uploading videos gets horrible a lot of times. So actually the distance education coordinator has suggested to me several times I ought to do that from home. So they upload a whole lot quicker. It works a whole lot quicker from home. Actually, I got to download them and then upload them. So that takes some time to do. At home, that it works a whole lot faster for me. And I've got 100 meg connection, I think it is, sitting at home, and it's just me using it, so it works quite well. Any other questions for me today? I did the best I could on setting up a schedule for these, but we had lots of crossover on it. People wanting times, and so I just could not set it up to satisfy everybody. Last semester was an exception where I got to be able to do that. What was sent to me and fit perfectly. This semester was more normal, and I had to just make arbitrary decisions. And I just decided also when I got to looking more at it that I would prefer to just get these done in one day because, like I say, next week there'll be a delay a day, and we'll hit 4th of July hitting the same thing, and that would scatter over. If we did it on 2 days, that would mean Tuesday and Wednesday next week and that week, where it'll just be Tuesday this way, and won't delay out too much for y'all also. So I was looking out for y'all also and make it just a little bit more efficient for me. All right, if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and wrap it up today. Sometimes we'll stay short on these. Sometimes they can run long. We've had sessions, particularly in 2451, we had sessions that actually ran over an hour. There were several times we ran an hour and 15 minutes, but normally I try to keep these under an hour. Normally they run somewhere between 15 minutes and probably 45 minutes really, but sometimes they do run closer to an hour, and sometimes they run a little bit on the shorter side. So we'll just see each week, and it depends on y'all's questions. The other part is be glad to send me emails when you run into any problems, and I will be glad to respond back to those. And I've been answering emails all morning. I've probably so far today already, see how many I've answered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've answered 9 emails this morning. There's been 9 emails sent to me this morning that I've answered, which I've answered all of those, but I've actually answered more emails than that because there were some that I actually told people they'd have to wait to, that we needed a key or whatever in my server classes. I told them I need to get to my stuff. So I've actually answered today 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I've actually answered 17 emails to students today, plus a couple to the administration. So I will see y'all next week. It looks like James, I'll see you at 2. Matt, I've already seen you twice today, so I assume I don't see you anymore. I saw you at 10 and 11. I'm actually going to attend online the Chattanooga Engineers Club presentation at 12. They're going to talk about the Chattanooga Dam and the changes they're doing on it and enlarging it, etc., which sounded interesting to me. So that I won't get a lunch break in here either. But I have been working on classes all morning also. Talk to y'all later. I'm going to stop the recording